Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have a bunch of updates to share about Donald Trump's trial, also some of his other legal issues. So, first, Michael Cohen testified today in the hush money trial. He went through his whole history with Trump, how they met, how enamored he was with Trump, how he wanted to please him. Cohen admitted, yeah, I lied for him, I bullied people, and he said that's what was necessary, right? To do the job, that's what was necessary. So, the prosecutor then walked Cohen through various stories that they paid to kill, including that false Dino the doorman story, the one about Trump's supposed love child, which was not true. They moved on to Karen McDougal's story. She was, of course, the Playboy playmate that had the 10-month affair with Trump. And Cohen said that was the only time he recorded his conversation with Trump. And Cohen claims he recorded him because he wanted to share the recording with David Pecker, the guy from, AMI and the National Enquirer, because he wanted to show him, yeah, Trump is going to pay you. He also said that, there were conversations with Trump and former Trump Organization CFO Alan Weisselberg, detailing all of this or discussing all of this. And Cohen said that Weisselberg didn't want the McDougal payoff to come from a Trump entity. He told Cohen, that would defeat the purpose because we don't want it tied to Trump in any way. So the prosecutor then asked Cohen about the Access Hollywood recording. Cohen confirmed, yes, this was a major concern for the campaign. The jury was shown a text message that Cohen received while this was all going down. He got a text from then CNN host Chris Cuomo, and Cuomo said, he's dying out here, meaning Trump. And Cohen said, yeah, I understood that text to mean Trump's candidacy was in trouble, especially with female voters. And then he confirmed conversations that took place about Stormy Daniels and her story. Cohen had already heard about the story back in 2011. And back then, they were able to get it removed. She wanted it removed. It was on a site called thedirty.com. But Cohen said to have Daniel's story come out right on the heels of the Access Hollywood video, it would have been what he referred to as catastrophic. And then Cohen told the jury that Trump was really angry with him because he thought that the Stormy Daniels story had been quashed. He thought it had been handled back in 2011. Now here it's coming out again right before the election. And then according to Cohen, Trump referred to it as a, quote, disaster. And he said, quote, women are going to hate me. And then he told Cohen to just take care of it. But Cohen claims Trump told him to basically drag out the payment to Daniels for as long as possible, basically just get it past the election, and then it won't matter. We won't have to pay it. And the prosecutor later shared text messages back and forth between Cohen and Stormy Daniels' attorney at that time, Keith Davidson. Also in the loop on these text messages was Dylan Howard. He at that time was the editor of the National Enquirer. Then in the text messages, they discussed the deal to silence Daniels, although they were using a little bit of coded language in some of the communications. And Cohen said they decided to use fake names on the agreement between Trump and Daniels just in case the document ever leaked out. So that was all before the lunch break. After the lunch break, Cohen came back on the stand. He told the jury that once Stormy Daniels lost patience with them, basically stringing her along, she said, I'm going to cancel the deal. And so then at that point, he went to Trump, said, what do you want to do? Trump said, meet with Alan Weisselberg, which was his CFO. And he said, basically, handle it. Or he said, figure it out. That was the quote that Cohen used. And in conversation with Weisselberg posited to Cohen, hey, what if we ask for a wealthy donor? What if we ask for like a wealthy supporter of Trump's to front the $130,000 hush money to Daniels, and then we can give that person a Trump golf club membership, or we can give them a wedding at one of his venues or some other event. They can host a party at one of Trump's properties and it'll be comped, and then nobody has to know where the money came from. Clearly, I mean, if they were doing nothing wrong, they would have just paid it outright, right? It's not like Trump didn't have $130,000. So Cohen warned Weisselberg, no, 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 because that will still be traced back to Trump. You can still trace it back to him in some way. The jury was also shown the handwritten notes again. They were the ones I talked about. I think it was, last week for sure. I'm pretty sure that's when they came up. But these were written, one was by Alan Weisselberg. The other one was written by the then Trump Organization controller, Jeffrey McConney. So those notes are very damning because it shows the step-by-step way that they were planning to pay Cohen back for this hush money. And there were notes on there about how the money needed to be doubled to cover his taxes. So clearly not, legal fees. You don't double legal fees to cover someone's taxes. And the one that Weisselberg drafted, the one that he scribbled out, was written on the bank transfer showing Cohen wiring the money over to Stormy Daniels' attorney. I mean, it doesn't get more blatant than that, right? And then Cohen later confirmed that he signed the agreement on Trump's behalf because the goal was to keep the agreement confidential because Trump was running for office. So that's pretty much where it was left today, how, it's summed up. He will be back on the stand again tomorrow. In regard to his other cases, like the classified documents case, you may have heard Ms. Margaritaville, Judge Aileen Cannon, she has postponed Trump's trial. It was slated to begin later this month. She has completely dragged her feet on this case. And there was a reporter on MSNBC recently who said that part of the problem is Cannon's insecurity about her own legal acumen. Yes, she is playing for Trump's team. That's very clear. But he said that she's also basically wholly unqualified. She is unqualified to handle a case of this magnitude. She's unsure of herself. And so she is using the excuse that, I just have too many pretrial issues that I have to resolve, that I have to work through before I can possibly reschedule the trial at this time. So we don't know when anything is going to go down. Unlikely it's going to happen at this point before the election. There's probably a less than 1% chance that the classified documents case will be tried before the election. She is a complete disgrace to her profession. She is a traitor to the country. Next up is news about another Trump trial that's being delayed. U.S. District Judge Amit Mehta agreed to grant Trump more time to turn over discovery items in those consolidated civil cases that were brought by U.S. Capitol Police, also members of Congress. So the judge agreed you can have until September 11th. That is the deadline to turn everything over. So now that lawsuit is in jeopardy of being halted if Trump is reelected because, as they say, the Department of Justice has that memo, you cannot prosecute a sitting president. So even though this is a civil trial, how are they going to handle that? Is he going to be able to get a stay of execution on that? I don't know. We'll see. In other Trump news, the watchdog group called Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington has filed a complaint. They filed it against a Trump super PAC with the Federal Election Commission. And Crew is claiming in this lawsuit or this complaint that the PAC, via the Trump campaign, offered to secretly pay off a former Trump campaign aide named AJ Delgado, who I've mentioned in the past. I mentioned her last week. She had filed a pregnancy discrimination lawsuit against the campaign. She said once they found out she was pregnant, they basically sidelined her. And so Crew is saying that Delgado, quote, recently confirmed the offer to utilize such a scheme to evade reporting. So according to Delgado, An attorney for the campaign had told her Trump's campaign would like to settle with you, but it won't be made public. They said instead, quote, the payment would be routed through a middleman to hide the fact that the campaign had settled from the public and the FEC. And so Cruz court filing is saying that the law firm involved in this proposed shady deal, they've received $4.5 million from the PAC and from the campaign for payments like this. So it sounds like outside of AJ Delgado, it sounds like she didn't take the payoff because her lawsuit is still going. So it sounds like they've paid off other women, or somebody, right? could be men. And then speaking of shady offers, Trump recently met with wealthy oil executives and flat out promised them that he would reverse Biden's environmental regulations, including his clean energy and electric vehicle policies, if they will come up with $1 billion to help fund his campaign. If they give him $1 billion, he will wipe out all of the progress we've made to save this planet for future generations. Unbelievably sick. So let every young person you know about this, because I'm sure they won't appreciate that. And if Trump can't win with the help of oil tycoons, he and the Republican National Committee are plotting other ways to try to help him win by gaming the system. So Trump's campaign and the RNC have filed a lawsuit in Nevada. They filed this lawsuit to stop the counting of ballots after the end of the election. So Nevada's election laws say the ballots received up to 4 days after an election have to be counted as long as there's a postmark that falls within that 4-day period of time, as long as it's received by the end of the business day on that 4th day. So these are lawful ballots with postmarks showing they were returned on time according to that state's laws. So obviously, this benefits Democrats because Democrats are more likely to vote by mail, and Trump and the Republican Party know that, and so they want to stop this completely. This legal process. So the next time you hear a Republican say, oh, we just want all legal votes to be counted, just laugh in their face, because they do not. They absolutely do not. Next up is more potentially bad news. Last week, the Georgia Court of Appeals agreed to hear the case against Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. So as you probably all remember, Willis was found to be having an affair with her lead prosecutor on Trump's RICO case. So Trump and his co-defendants, or a bunch of them, tried to get her disqualified from the case. And the judge overseeing the RICO case against Trump had refused to remove her. But he said, okay, it's either Willis or the prosecutor. One of you has to go, either Willis or Nathan Wade. So Wade made the decision to remove himself from the case, but Trump and these others are still filing complaints. They're still appealing the judge's ruling. So here's where the case stands now and how an appeal might go down. Judge Scott McAfee, which is the primary judge overseeing this RICO case, he has continued to move the RICO case forward. He's still holding hearings, seeing about pending motions and all kinds of stuff. Well, an Atlanta defense attorney said there is no way that Trump's appeal about removing Fani Willis is going to be heard before 2025. However, Trump could ask the appeals court to issue a stay in the RICO case until they have a chance to rule on the Fani Willis issue. So if that happens, the RICO case will also be on hold until 2025, potentially. I will let you know as soon as I hear anything on that. And then that's pretty much it for right now. So I will have more news for you tomorrow. Like I said, Cohen's back on the stand. We only have a few more days left in this trial. As my understanding, there will only be one more witness after Cohen, and then that's it. They wrap. It will go to the jury. Who knows when we'll have a verdict, but I would guess by next week. So That would be a good thing. Anyway, I will let you all know when I hear more. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.